In one direction, they went in their hundreds, cheered as returning heroes. In the other, a lone, frail figure emerged blinking into the glare of publicity after 5 years of captivity. Israeli conscript Ghilad Shalit was just 19 when he was kidnapped by Hamas militants and spirited into Gaza. Today, Israel bought his freedom with the release of more than 1,000 Palestinian prisoners. The Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu conceded the price had been very high, but said the country had a duty to bring home soldiers sent into battle. Our Foreign Affairs correspondent Jonathan Rugman reports.
Just before sunset, and Israel's long-lost son was home at last after 5 years, 4 months in captivity. Ghilad Shalit's tiny village in Galilee turned out for a glimpse, throwing flowers, garlanding him with a sea of flags. The 25-year-old waved briefly before disappearing with his family. But despite the hero's welcome, the taste of freedom here is bittersweet. For in Gaza, the Palestinians were also rejoicing, in their hundreds of thousands, as Israel pardoned and released 477 political prisoners, some of them with the blood of hundreds of Israelis on their hands. The people want a new Gilad, they chanted, believing that today's returnees could be followed by many more if another Israeli soldier is caught. Ghilad Shalit was delivered from Gaza to Egypt this morning. Egyptian intelligence brokered the deal. And with Israel unsure how friendly post-revolutionary Egypt will turn out, it was a deal Israel felt it had to accept now. And in a domestic scoop for Egypt's ruling generals, Shalit spoke to Egyptian TV first.
Did you ever think you will live to see the day when you can actually walk free?
They were long years. I believed the day would come, but it might not be for more long years. I hope this deal will help us reach peace between Israelis and Palestinians.
Shalit was a gangly 19-year-old conscript when he was abducted. Today he looked weak and unsure of himself, according to one official deprived of daylight. The Israelis put him back in uniform and promoted him from sergeant to sergeant major, before flying him into the arms of Benjamin Netanyahu, Israel's Prime Minister. "I brought your boy home," Mr. Netanyahu told Shalit's parents. His father, Noam, kissed his son. And the unspoken message for the sons and daughters of Israel's army: we never forget our own, even if it comes at a price. The Prime Minister hoping today's release boosts battered Israeli morale, but painfully aware that it could also boost Hamas, who let Shalit go.
We will continue to fight terrorism. Any released terrorist who returns to terrorism is taking his life in his hands. We do not celebrate the release of murderers.
Meanwhile, in Gaza, the first coachloads of prisoners had arrived. All of them were chosen by Hamas, though Israel will choose the next batch of 550 to be released in the next 2 months. The leaders of Hamas were there to savour this moment, their propaganda coup, even if Israel's blockade of Gaza continues to isolate them. A masked spokesman made it clear the armed struggle was not over. "We won't give up," he said, "until the prisons are shut down." In the West Bank, there was jubilation at Fakhri Barghouti's freedom. He was first arrested in 1978, until today Israel's longest-serving prisoner. But his freedom does few favours to the Palestinian president, Mahmoud Abbas. He was not involved in today's deal, and Israel seems to have disregarded any concern that it weakens their most viable partner for peace. And anyway, what peace is there to be had? Today's clashes with Israeli security forces look like business as usual. Peace talks collapsed 13 months ago, and diplomats have failed to bring both sides together for a meeting planned for next week.